everybody. Welcome to the Centbee Show, where we talk about all things Centbee and other Bitcoin-related stuff. Our favorite topic, Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Lorien Gamaroff, and my co-host is Kage Ntshingila. How you doing, Kage?
Good yourself, Mr. G.
I'm amazing. I'm back from New Delhi.
Once again, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a good experience,
Yeah.
definitely. There was a conference there about digital stuff, and there was a blockchain. A bunch of people there, especially the BSV Association were there. Yeah, so it's nice to be back in the studio, in the Centbee Show studio.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about Centbee and our philosophy and the things that we have to offer our users.
Yeah. Mr. G, we have a slogan here at Centbee. It speaks about activating your lifestyle. And especially our target market, people that we're trying to reach out there are people that need their lives activated, you know? So let's talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it is a slogan that needs explaining, because somebody might ask, what does it mean to activate your lifestyle?
Yeah.
Now, as you said, we have a user base of very young people, teenagers typically, and students.
Yeah.
And they definitely want to be spending money in a modern economy. They want to get things like Steam or buy Uber or something like that, recharge their phone.
Yeah.
They want to get out. Those are all the things that help them have a lifestyle.
Yeah.
If your phone is loaded with data, and if you've got an Uber voucher and you can go and get an Uber, you can get some takeout, then that's what we consider your lifestyle. Go watch a movie, buy some clothes.
Yeah.
And in a world where digital payments, typically you have to go through a bank or something. But that's the great thing about Bitcoin and specifically Bitcoin SV is that we give people the ability to now go and buy the things that can activate their lifestyle, that can enable their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's really what we mean, is we want to give people the ability, young people especially, the ability to go out and live their lives the way they want to.
Yeah, because speaking on the fact that a lot of teenagers have the cash, parents do give allowances or some form of cash that they acquire, and it's still limited for them to spend into avenues that they would actually like to. I mean, for instance, gaming is one industry that would somehow require digital payments, you know. So how does Centbee activate these young people into this digital space?
Yeah, now all these services that you're talking about, if you're a young person, a teenager, you don't necessarily have a credit card or a debit card or something like that, and you want to go and buy a game online, or you want to do some online shopping, you want to buy some digital service or good, and if you're just stuck with cash, then you don't have that ability. So the beauty of digital cash is that now you don't need to have one of those traditional financial service products that you would have normally, like a bank card. You can now go and download a Centbee wallet, and you can top it up with Bitcoin SV, and then you can use it just like cash. We bundle a whole lot of brands and retailers into Centbee. You can see in the shop, there's a whole lot of places around the world. Some countries there's just about everything you could wish for.
Literally,
and you can then go and purchase those things using Centbee and Bitcoin SV. So it's a really great alternative now. If you're a young person, a teenager, a student, or older, we're not going to say that it's only for young people, although that's the demographic we love. Then you can go ahead and try it, and you can go and see, wow, now you can easily recharge your phone or purchase a movie ticket without having to trundle around with cash, physical cash. And that's something we love, and we want to empower that. And that's the world we want, where everybody has access to a digital payment method that's, most importantly, low cost. You don't want the fees to be high. But we want all the other beautiful aspects about Bitcoin SV, which is low cost, fast, instant payments. And that's what we are really working hard to achieve.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, because I mean, it literally means that people who haven't had the exposure of spending their money on stuff that they wanted. I mean, there's limitations of credit cards and access, or even just having to travel a distance to just get a mere voucher. So I see how Centbee bridges that gap to activate like people's lifestyles. Because again, as much as we focus on serving the younger community, we also are conscious of the fact that it bridges all those generational gaps, because you can purchase literally data, gaming vouchers, electricity, groceries. So much as it does activate the younger crowd's lifestyle, it also umbrellas to everyone, because that's payments in general. People need to find easier ways and cheaper ways to spend their money.
Absolutely. And also, we talk about activating the lifestyle of a young person, like a teenager, but with our money send, we also have the ability now for you to go and send money to your relatives, your grandparents,
Yep.
your family, and they can buy the things that they need in the countries that they live.
Yep.
So, of course, that would be a life too, that would be a lifestyle. So it's
Yeah.
not just about activating the lifestyles of the young,
Yeah.
but as you say, encapsulating everybody in
Yeah.
a world of digital cash payments.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's cool, because I appreciate the fact that it's not only just enabling people or activating people into this digital space just to spend their money, but it's more building that unified community of where Bitcoin is going, because it is about those peer-to-peer transactions. So I'd like us to chat more about how people can actually refer their friends, link them, and actually benefit from that.
Yes, now that's something we have as a way to get people to want to share Centbee. We've been talking about honey rewards a lot,
Yeah.
and the idea with honey rewards is to reward your engagement, but also to reward you going out and finding friends and family to share Centbee with.
Yeah.
Now, of course, honey rewards, everybody would think that, this is a great way to make a passive income or something like that. But of course, we just want people to be able to get a chance to download Centbee and then immediately use it for what it's meant to be used for.
Yeah.
I think when people download crypto wallets, normally they would have it and they would try and store crypto in there, but then really it just becomes a kind of vault, because they're not going to be using their crypto. They're just going to be trading it or watching the price go up and down.
Yeah.
And so, or if you download another app that's not finance related, if you download a game or any kind of app really, generally you can immediately start using it and you can start seeing the benefits of that app.
Yeah.
But when you have a wallet and you don't have any cash in your wallet, then you don't really see the use for it. A wallet without cash is just an empty, hopeless thing. So Honey Rewards is our way of inviting you to say, go and share this with somebody. And not only will you be able to tell them about the benefits of Centbee, but you will both be rewarded in that way. And you'll be able to then, and your friend that you're referring will be able to then get a chance to see what it is like to use digital cash, to send it to somebody else or to maybe buy something of low value in their store. So that's just something we want to keep going as a marketing effort and a way for us to get new users on board. Honey Rewards is a great way to do that. But again, I want to just emphasize, because I think we have seen a lot of people on the internet, even creating videos about how Centbee can become a passive income generator.
I've picked up a lot of those, and it's spreading out the wrong message about what we are trying to achieve. Because to your point, having an empty wallet serves no purpose, so the Honey Rewards are more, the stepping stone to your life being activated, because at least with those few rewards that you've earned, you can easily purchase like small amounts of whatever you can, whether it's airtime or data. So the best part is that Centbee is a global wallet, so you can access it anywhere you are in the world. It's good for traveling. Literally, it switches with you wherever you are. Guys, remember to download the Centbee app on the app stores, and remember to like and comment, show some love, yo. You know the drill by now. So Ms. G, we're going to be stepping into this week's focus on industry insights on blockchain, Bitcoin SV. So Ms. G, there's a quote I'd like to phrase here from an email that Satoshi sent out back in 2008 to Mike Hearn. It states that the nature of Bitcoin is such that once the version 0.1 was released, the core design was set in stone for the rest of its lifetime.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We are fortunate to have a lot of the public communications on the public forums that Satoshi Nakamoto was present on back in the early days when he was engaging with the new community that was springing up around Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And there were some people early on in those days, like Mike Hearn, who were involved with Bitcoin and helping Satoshi Nakamoto develop it and bug test it and just work out the kinks. And those forum posts and the communications that we are left with really give a lot of insight into how Satoshi Nakamoto thought about Bitcoin and his vision for that. Now, we call ourselves, and we support Bitcoin SV, which is the Satoshi vision version of Bitcoin. In other words, what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted. So it's a very important, if we know what he wanted, and of course it's not just we want to do what he wanted because he is just this mythical being that we want to follow, but he was the one, of course, who had an understanding about what and how Bitcoin should work, the insights that made it possible for Bitcoin to work. Because remember, Bitcoin, when it was invented, when it was first created, a lot of people said, well, this can't work. We've tried these things in the past, and digital cash is just never going to happen. So Satoshi Nakamoto wrote about his design and how he intended it to work and explained a lot of these things to us. But that is really where things started changing, where people misunderstood the intention of Bitcoin, at least, and how it should work. And that's why we ended up with a world full of different blockchains and even Bitcoin itself going through the different splits. So, but very important statement is this one that was in a private email that was published by Mike Hearn, an early contributor. And it states that Bitcoin, when the core design was released at 0.1, that it's set in stone. Now, when you hear about something set in stone, the whole analogy is that it doesn't change.
Because I was about to say that, okay, how does... I mean, it sounds a little bit contrary, because if we're talking technology, we're talking progression. And blockchain, Bitcoin, is technology. So set in stone, technology, like, how does that work?
Yes, now, of course, when we think about technology, then we think, one thing we know about technology is that it transforms, it evolves, it improves, bugs get fixed, old features get thrown out, new features get incorporated into it. So I think when people look at the statement like that and they bundle what Satoshi meant, in other words, the design of the protocol or the rules of the system, when they conflate that with the software that runs on top of that protocol and follows the rules of that protocol, that's when people get confused. As you said, you said technology changes. And yes, the applications that we use, the systems that we use do evolve, but the design of Bitcoin is not it's not a technology that we're looking at. It's not a software program. What it is a set of rules on how the software programs that are written can communicate with each other and how transactions can be processed and what makes a transaction valid. So when Satoshi Nakamoto spoke about the core design, he was saying that the rules of the system, the way the system operates, in other words, transactions get created, they get validated, and then they get processed into a block, and that's how the system works. That was the design he was talking about. He wasn't talking about the software applications or the node applications, the server applications that would be running the Bitcoin system, following the rules that were defined in the Bitcoin white paper as the core design. So a very important thing to realize is the difference between the rules of the system and the software that executes and runs the rules of the system.
Oh, that's cool, Mr. G, because it brings me back to our following question, because you spoke about the protocol, which is the core design of the system.
Yes, the rules.
Yeah. But what I would like to understand, are there any examples that we can put in place for people to understand what do we mean by like a core design or a protocol?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, the world definitely runs on protocols. In every sphere of life, there are rules. Even the rules of the road.
Yeah.
That's a protocol.
Yeah.
Because it's a way that people can drive on any road, whether it's a fancy new road or an old dusty
True.
dirt road.
Yeah.
The point is that the rules of the road don't change.
They don't.
Here in South Africa and England, you drive on the left, and in America and elsewhere, you drive on the right. That is the protocol of the road.
Yeah.
And I mean, even kids know about protocols. If you eat, you don't eat with you eat properly. You don't play with your food. You either
wash your hands before
wash your hands.
eat. Yeah.
You're polite. So protocols just mean rules. The rules that we follow. And like in terms of the rules of the road, you can have fancy vehicles and fancy road with great lights and all sorts of interesting, cool technology around it, but the rules don't change. You can imagine if you change the rules of the road, how things can go wrong.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when we talk about Bitcoin, there is a very strong analogy to the internet, because the internet itself, at its very core, it's the most basic level, it's a protocol.
Yeah.
The TCP/IP protocol, which was developed many decades ago, that was a set of rules about how information on the internet network, how it gets exchanged and how it travels around and how it gets processed.
Yeah.
And so the internet itself is a protocol. At least the things that make up the internet are different protocols, different rules around how we deal with different things on the internet. And when we look at the internet and we see the internet as a protocol, we then can see that, yes, there are companies out there that are building applications and servers for the internet, like internet servers, web servers, and they are innovating and they are building out new technology. But at the end of the day, they are all following the fixed rules of the internet, the protocol, the internet protocol, how information is traveling around on that network. So to think about Bitcoin, the perfect analogy that you can really, if you understand, then you can understand Bitcoin well, is that Bitcoin is a protocol. It's a set of rules around how information is exchanged on the network, on the Bitcoin network. And in the Bitcoin's case, it's these transactions. And the nodes and the software that operates on top of that, the mining software, the node software that merchants will use, that Centbee uses, that software can be innovated and changed and improved as long as it sticks to the rule of Bitcoin. And that's what Satoshi Nakamoto was implying. He was saying, this is not software, this is not a technology platform, it's a set of rules on how Bitcoin is going to operate. And you now can go ahead and do whatever you like. You can innovate, you can go crazy, you can make the coolest things ever, please do, but we cannot change the basic rules of the protocol.
I mean, that's clear. It makes sense.
That makes sense. And the internet protocol hasn't changed.
It hasn't.
People think that the internet's changed because we've got faster bandwidth and cooler apps online and websites and things. But the protocol hasn't changed.
It hasn't.
It's all the innovation has happened on top of that, the businesses that have created all this value on top of the internet protocol. And that's what we need to see in the world of Bitcoin, that the people building the applications and the servers and all sorts of things, they can go and build whatever they like as long as they do not change the Bitcoin protocol.
I mean, it's for me, it makes sense, because for you to build something stable, you need a set of rules. So if you don't have rules, that means there's no foundation, a firm one for that matter.
Right.
So that means it can crumble anytime, it cannot be trusted, it cannot be adopted. So, I mean, clearly with BSV, it's built for that, to scale, to grow, to play within the regulated box, and to actually activate people's lifestyles.
Right, and very important thing that you said there is that it's a firm foundation. Now, if you have a protocol that can change, then all that software and those applications and those services that are built on top of that protocol, if it's not a firm foundation, it's the same as a house being built on a foundation that's not firm.
Yeah.
If that foundation changes, if there's a shift,
Yeah.
then suddenly the entire house on top of it becomes unstable and can crumble, as you say.
Yeah.
So a very important thing that made the internet so successful, the TCP/IP protocol, was that because it was a fixed protocol, and that gave all the businesses confidence to now go and spend money and invest money and build companies, build software that operates on top of that, because they knew it would be firm. Now, of course, there are examples throughout history where there were protocols that did change, and they have all the systems that were built on those, they struggled to keep up, and they eventually fell away, and they no longer exist. So the internet is something that we should take seriously and say, if we want Bitcoin to last forever, and if you want your transactions, let's say you send money and it's in what's called a time-locked transaction, maybe you want to send money to your child when he turns 21 or something, you can know that you can send money and you know that the protocol won't change, and that payment will be reliably valid at that time. But also anything you put onto the blockchain, and of course today we talk about other things like titles of ownership or whatever it is, we know that information is going to be valid because the protocol is fixed for the next 100 years, if that's how long things go on for. So a firm foundation gives people confidence that not only will the work that they do, the apps that they build on top of that last, and they won't have to change down the line. Also, the information that we put on that blockchain will be valid and reliable until it's not needed anymore. So if we want Bitcoin to succeed, we have to stick with what Satoshi said, because it makes sense. He wasn't just stating something that a whim. He wasn't just saying, this is my thing and this is what I want. He had insight into what makes systems successful. And the insight he had was the insight from the internet, where if you have a fixed protocol, then the chances of what you're trying to create are much greater of surviving, because now people have confidence for the long term.
Geez, I mean, I could imagine like if maybe Bitcoin or the blockchain was invented like eons ago. Imagine how much reliable data we would have. Like I could literally go back in time and see the original source. I mean, that would be like the most legit source of information one could ever acquire.
Absolutely. That is one of the most important things about Bitcoin is its immutability. In other words, data that goes onto the blockchain is there immutably. Now, of course, it could change given a court order or some legal reason, because Bitcoin is subject under the law, and we've spoken about that before. But as you say, in 100 years' time, if Bitcoin is still around, you'll be able to go back along that chain all the way to today. And if there is information on there that's important to you, a way of verifying data or something, it's still going to be there, and you'll be able to reliably trust it because of that fixed protocol.
Geez, that's a very bright future, Mr. G, because I can imagine the legitimacy of research and data, like legit sources, like you know where to find legit information. Because currently, I think the battle is everyone has access to the internet. Everyone can put out stories the way they feel the truth is, and somehow it is distorted. But having technology like the blockchain and set like as concrete as a transaction being sent, or even a message, or I can even see like a future of articles or theses. Like it could be some very valuable form of technology for that space of human advancement, because literally that's what the battle is currently, our source of information. So having it like the blockchain as the main source of technology or transactions or the moving of data, I think that is a very bright future we should look forward to.
You were saying something about the legitimacy of information on the blockchain. Now, remember, blockchain doesn't give you certainty of truth about anything on the blockchain. All it is just information.
Yeah.
And of course, remember, you can put any information on the blockchain and it can be truthful or untruthful. So I don't think anyone should ever look at Bitcoin as a source of truth in terms of the content, but they can at least know that that content that they've put there has not changed. And so that's the important feature. You're getting integrity. So you know that data is there, hasn't changed. It has integrity. Whether it's truthful or not, we can't tell that, because it could be garbage in, garbage out sort of thing. So that's a very important thing. Information on the blockchain won't tell you the truth about content, but it will certainly give you
the truth
verifiable
of the source.
Integrity about the data that's been stored there.
Cool. So I'd also like to understand, Mr. G, how does this fixed protocol help with decentralization?
Yes, now we spoke about decentralization on the previous
episode,
and this is something we didn't really talk about in terms of another aspect of decentralization, and I think it's because it is a whole topic on its own.
It is.
The fact that having a fixed protocol aids in creating a decentralized system. Now, we spoke about last week about how decentralization gives you redundancy and it allows you to do peer-to-peer cash payments, but really the decentralization aspect here, in terms of the fixed protocol, gives you a lot of confidence in a way around the system itself. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you have a system that cannot change, it means that you won't end up with people who maybe, like we have in BTC, because remember, BTC did change the protocol.
It did.
What they have is a philosophy of, if we need to, for improvements or whatever the reason is, we are wanting to allow for a changed protocol. Now, of course, not anyone can just change the BTC protocol. What happens is there is a small group of people who they ultimately decide what changes should be made on the BTC protocol. And so what we find now is, because they've got a culture of change and not set in stone, so diverting radically from what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted in Bitcoin, what they've now introduced is this small group of elite who ultimately decide how Bitcoin should progress. And of course, in that, what you also have now is politics and decision making and arguments and confusion, because they have a philosophy of change. Now, when you take away that option for change, you immediately eliminate all that negative stuff. You don't end up having a small group of people who have control about the future of the system. You don't have politics and infighting or anything like that, because the question of whether you can change is not a question. It's just no.
So it goes back to the firm foundation point you were saying.
It's a firm foundation. It cannot change. And by not making it changeable, it means that you have decentralized power. You see? So now we don't have a centralized power like we have in BTC and other cryptocurrencies and other blocks. Because there's no change allowed, it now has decentralized that decision making, where the question to be able to change something in any direction, there's no question. It's a no.
A small group of people having to make decisions, it was clearly against the whole protocol. So it makes a lot of sense.
If you want to have a system that people are free to use, that doesn't have a small group of individuals who have the power to determine the future, then you have a decentralized system.
No, thanks for the clarity, Mr. G, because to my understanding now, how I understand decentralization is peer-to-peer and also more larger, reliable network of distributed nodes versus it being a smaller entity controlling that.
Yes, now, of course, you talk about nodes, but remember, they're just the operators on that blockchain. We're talking specifically about the blockchain, the protocol itself. And how do we achieve a firm foundation? We make sure that nobody has the power to be able to make a change.
Cool, thanks, Mr. G. Now we understand how fixed protocol actually helps with decentralization. But I'd like to understand how it helps the miners.
Yes, the miners. Now, of course, mining is a very important aspect of Bitcoin, of course. And what miners are doing is they are following that protocol, the rules. So in the Bitcoin white paper, when you read it, it explains what miners are doing. So miners, if they want to be able to mine on the Bitcoin network, they need to follow the rules. And if they don't follow the rules, then they get thrown out or arrested or something like that. So now, how does having a fixed protocol help them? Well, what we have now is a whole lot of rules and steps about how to process transactions into blocks by the miners. So, of course, I mean, there you can already see if they have a protocol that changes, you're going to imagine that they're going to need to change their mining operations, their software that does the processing. And so it's critical that the miners can also trust that protocol remains fixed. But also, now that there is a fixed protocol, and in the Bitcoin white paper, Bitcoin doesn't determine how big blocks need to be. This was another thing that happened when the BTC blockchain forked away from the original Bitcoin protocol, is that they said, we want to also now enforce a limit on those blocks, because they, of course, don't want to have large mining operators. They want to have very many small little operators, and they think that that's going to achieve their form of decentralization, as we discussed previously. But in Bitcoin, there is no determination, there's no specification or prescription on how big blocks need to be. So what miners can do now is that they can decide how many transactions they process into a block. Because remember, the way a miner creates income is not just through the block rewards, which is a temporary step at the moment as Bitcoin is developing. The block rewards that miners are earning right now when they process a block into the blockchain, those rewards are diminishing, and every 4 years they're halving until there won't be any more. And so the only way that miners are going to be able to generate income is by processing as many transactions as they can, because every transaction has a small fee attached to it. So what can happen now is the miners can decide whether they want to invest resources and capital into developing systems that can process those blocks more efficiently, or can calculate proof of work more effectively and quickly. And so they can then decide, based on economics, how big they want their blocks to be and how much income they want to generate from processing those blocks. So now, if the protocol was not fixed and suddenly a change came along like it did in BTC, which said, well, we're going to keep the blocks small, well, the miners would never be able to make a decision to invest more resources or to expand their operations, because they would say, well, look, we don't know what's going to happen. Imagine now we invest all this money into a mining operation, and then the next day you guys say, sorry, we're changing the protocol. The max amount of transactions, or the max size block that you can have, is 1 meg, like it is in BTC. Suddenly now that miner has all this investment that's gone to waste. So a very important thing for miners, if they want to be confident that they can invest resources into mining Bitcoin, then they want to know that the protocol is not going to change, the rules are not going to change, so that they can now go and look to the future and develop and grow their business and their operation as much as they like, as much investment as they're willing to put in, because they now have confidence. In the same way application developers will have confidence because they don't have to change the way their apps work, miners can have confidence to be able to invest capital for the long term, because they know that the Bitcoin protocol is not going to change. So you can see, after all this, that Satoshi Nakamoto wasn't just making a statement because he had a whim. You can see how carefully he thought about the future of Bitcoin and the stability going forward, and the confidence that he could engender by stating that, don't worry, the rules are set. You don't have to worry about me or somebody else or a group of people coming along one day and making a change to these rules. You can just go ahead and innovate and create the coolest mining operation you like. And app developers, Centbee, go bananas. Make the coolest app you can make, because the rules are not going to change. The internet is a fixed, stable protocol, and it has been for many decades. It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And yet the entire internet industry has exploded over the last few decades.
Yeah.
And innovation never stops. Apps never stop changing.
Yeah.
They constantly improve.
Yeah.
And the innovation is driving forward because of the industry's confidence in a fixed internet protocol.
Yeah.
That's why we have a wonderful internet industry today with apps and services galore, and everything is getting better and faster.
Yeah.
And the only reason that happened is because the internet protocol remained stable. If we want Bitcoin to be the same, if we want to have a universe of Bitcoin applications and services out there that are as rich and as exciting as it is on the internet world, then we need to put out there the message that this protocol is fixed.
Yeah.
It's set in stone.
Yeah.
Come along. Let's create a new internet out of this technology.
I mean, that's a very awesome future to look forward to. I mean, having technology that's gradually advancing with everyone being involved. I mean, us as Centbee, we already have a product that enables or activates people's lifestyle into experiencing the advantages of using the blockchain into their everyday activities, whether it's shopping, whether it's sending money. Like, we literally brought that and into the real use case world where people actually experience the benefits of Bitcoin SV.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Ms. G, I mean, there's other cryptos out there like Ethereum, and I've heard of this Turing completeness. Like, does that mean Ethereum somehow offers like better flexibility in terms of the tech?
Yeah, that's great. A great question, because a lot of people always thought that Bitcoin was cool as a money protocol or something like that, but it wasn't going to be effective as a general purpose decentralized blockchain that can allow developers to build all these interesting new smart contract type systems that have been not necessarily commercially flourishing, but of course we've seen a decade now of blockchain companies building decentralized autonomous organizations or other decentralized DeFi or systems. And when Ethereum came along, it said, well, look, Bitcoin seems to be limited because, first of all, the fees are high. In those days, Vitalik Buterin, the inventor of Ethereum, wanted to use Bitcoin as the blockchain, the decentralized blockchain. But because of the decisions made by the small group of people responsible for the BTC protocol, they were limiting the block sizes and the fees were going up. And the founders of Ethereum said, well, look, we can't use Bitcoin. We're going to need to develop a new blockchain.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do also, because Bitcoin, when it was developed, had a scripting language built into it. Now, a scripting language isn't something that you can use on its own to create these complex apps and software programs that we see today. You mentioned the words Turing completeness. Now, really all that means is that when you write software, you want to be able to have software that can perform all sorts of complex logic and run conditions and do all sorts of software decision making. And when you have a scripting language, you're very limited in how complex you can make the programming. And so people looked at Bitcoin and they said, well, Bitcoin's nice, but it's very limited. The scripting language that it has can't be used to create all these complex algorithms and software systems that we're thinking of. So what Ethereum did was they said, well, we'll create a virtual environment where you can write software as you would in a normal software language, which it does have this thing called Turing completeness, where you can run complex logic. And then what we can have is the best of both worlds. We can have a decentralized blockchain, and then we can also have a platform to be able to run complex logic and create all these interesting smart contract ideas. But interestingly, what people have missed is that Bitcoin is Turing complete, not necessarily in its scripting language on its own, but the way that Bitcoin was created, where you could create multiple transactions that could have scripts in them that could communicate with each other and interact with each other. And if the fees were low enough and the blocks were big enough, you could then simulate a Turing complete system by just using the native capabilities in Bitcoin with its scripting language.
Okay.
Now, this is something that most people at the moment don't know. They think of, when they look at Bitcoin, they say it's a limited system. It doesn't have all this complex capability. But by using Bitcoin in that way, by being able to create multiple transactions, getting them processed in blocks, having the surety of that, you can actually then have what is called a fully Turing complete system, a system that can have complex logic and can do all these things that blockchains like Ethereum are trying to deliver on. So the amazing thing about Bitcoin is not only was it a low-cost transactional network that was set in stone, so it gave confidence and reliability and decentralized the whole decision making. But also, it's a one blockchain that can do all these complex things that people think only Ethereum or these other blockchains can do. So now when we talk about Bitcoin SV and the original Bitcoin protocol, we're very certain that we're heading into a single blockchain world. We have a single internet world. So what makes sense is a single blockchain world, because that means things are more, have the ability to integrate it into each other, and you can have reliability, you can have data in one place, a single source of truth. Whereas if you have multiple blockchains, you've got information all over the place and you have integration difficulties. Well, if you have a single blockchain, you had better be sure that that blockchain is capable of creating all these cool, complex contracts and algorithms and programs and things and services that these other blockchains are saying that they can have. Well, the good news is that Bitcoin, as originally devised by Satoshi Nakamoto and represented as BSV now, it does have the power and the capability, because it alone has the ability to have as many transactions as you need at very low cost that will be processed in blocks. And you can now link these together and have Turing complete systems. Now, I want to give a plug to a company out there called and we must definitely highlight them at some point. But what they are doing right now is they have created some very easy ways for you to be able to write software that then gets interpreted into or compiled into Bitcoin script. So
that's cool.
And what they also allow you to do, so you can just use what it looks like JavaScript, I imagine, or TypeScript, which is languages that everybody kind of knows. You can now go and check out Script, and you can get a little plugin into VS Code or something like that, and you can then go and write normal programming that you would, and then be able to compile that into Bitcoin script and actually execute that onto the Bitcoin SV network.
That's cool.
And create a complex smart contract. And what's even nicer is that you have the ability to take Ethereum code that you've written in Ethereum's language, which is Solidity. You can take Solidity software that you've created and port it into Bitcoin through Script, and actually then be able to run the same smart contracts and use all that IP that you've created, maybe all that software you've written over the last few years, bring that over into Bitcoin SV, run it at a fraction of the cost, and you'll be able to then not waste all that effort. You can then go and see how easy it is to develop for Bitcoin SV. So I'm going to say one of the most well-kept secrets and most unknown things is that Bitcoin already had the capability to build complex smart contracts, Turing complete systems into it natively using Bitcoin script. And now we've got cool services like Script, which allow you to now go and write those little scripts very efficiently. So I want to definitely give Script a shout out on the show. If you haven't checked it out, go to Script. I'm not sure what the domain is, but I'm sure we'll have it down at the bottom.
We'll put the link here.
And you can go and see how easy it is to create smart contracts on Bitcoin SV.
Cool. Oh man, that's awesome, man. Mr. G, this gets me excited about the future, because every week we touch base on this, it's another unfold of where this technology is going. And you just mentioned that that's a secret, but it's not in a sense, because we're still trying to get through the first page of the white paper. It's just to get people to understand the nature of the real Bitcoin SV. So them having to understand that will unfold all the wonders that it comes with. Yeah.
And fortunately now we don't only just have a few scraps of information from the old Bitcoin forums from Satoshi Nakamoto. Now you can go and hear from the inventor himself if you just go to Craig Wright's, if you go and listen to his seminars on YouTube. If you really want to understand what Satoshi Nakamoto was thinking and you want to understand Bitcoin more, then go and check out Craig Wright on YouTube and his blog, and you'll certainly get a lot more insight and understanding about Bitcoin and Bitcoin SV. I certainly have.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, guys. By this time, you already know what to do, man. Remember to like, subscribe, and also remember to check out the Centbee app on the stores. Thanks for that, Mr. G. Yeah, I mean, every time we unfold what Bitcoin SV really is, for me, the closer we are getting to the true adoption of everyone using and understanding what a Bitcoin SV really is. Because for me, I look at it as something that we can all benefit from, whether you're a small business or you are someone who's actually trying to purchase things that you can't get through cash. Through Centbee, we also enable you to do that thanks to the blockchain technology of BSV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Sure, guys. Yeah, we're going to be jumping into this week's social highlights and feedback, questions and feedback from you guys. Yeah, our first question from Gentech on X. They're asking, have you stopped rewarding us for using Centbee?
No, we haven't stopped rewarding. People are still accumulating rewards, but what we've been doing now is going through the beta 4, the version 4 beta.
Yeah.
And that's coming to an end now. We had to go through the beta program just to ensure that the Nigeria top-up system was working okay, and we had some other features inside Centbee and improvements that we wanted to just bed down over the beta program. But once we get through the beta, which should be soon, we will be reactivating Honey Rewards.
Yeah.
And so we still want to encourage users to refer their friends. And what we'll be doing is once the beta is over, then you'll be earning your honey for those referrals. So please keep sharing Centbee with your friends, and we certainly want to get the honey flowing again.
Yeah, guys, remember to download the Centbee app on the stores. Remember to also refer your friends, link them up. The rewards are still coming. Like we're saying, we're still in the beta version for version 4. Once that is sorted, we've fixed out a couple of bugs. We're definitely going to be rolling out some honeys for you guys. So yeah, remember to refer your friends and like, comment, subscribe, show some love, guys.
I just want to say, I don't think we're going to be rolling out any honeys.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of guys are getting excited out there, but now we're talking about the real honey, okay? So yeah, Ms. G, to our second question from Musa, also posted on X, Musa Muhammad Abdullah. They're asking, can we withdraw without KYC?
Yeah, now that would be the money send feature, so where you add a bank account or a mobile money account, or even a cash collection recipient, and you can then send them money.
Yeah.
Now, of course, to be able to create those recipients, you don't need to be KYC'd. In other words, you don't have to have your ID verified.
Okay.
But to be able to actually send money from your BSV wallet to a bank account or something like that, then you will need to verify your identity.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a little step in Centbee that says verify your identity. It will then allow you to take a photo of your ID, a photo of your face, and then if it's a non-blurry photo, if it's a valid photo, then it should be verified within a few minutes. If not, it'll be checked by one of our support consultants, and then you should be able to be verified. But once you're verified the first time, then you can send money to your bank accounts, and you won't have to do it again.
Cool, sure. Thanks for that. Sounds fairly easy. Cool. Thanks for your question, Musa. Yeah, so our third question from Mafex, also posted on our support channel on X. So he's saying, I didn't receive my SMS code on my mobile phone. I'm sure he's talking about the OTP.
Yeah, that's right. So when you sign up with Centbee, one of the things we ask you for is your mobile number.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because we connect you to your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're not receiving your OTP, there could be a number of reasons for that. Maybe your network was temporarily unavailable.
Yeah.
Please just check your mobile number was inserted correctly.
Yeah.
In some cases, it could be a problem with our SMS server. So just please reach out to support@centbee.com. and somebody will help you out, and we'll make sure you get verified.
Cool. Sure, thanks for that, Mr. G. Yeah, and also, guys, thanks for your questions. I'm just going to be jumping into our this week's highlighted feedback. And we're already getting some love for the show. Casey Hamilton saying, great show, Centbee. Thanks for that, Casey. At least people are checking us out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, also second one coming from Clint on X. Also, they're saying desserts is just the fingertips away. Thanks, Centbee, for making it possible. I think this was our Dunkin' Donuts post.
Oh yeah, we recently announced Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go and get some Dunkin' Donuts with Centbee.
Yeah, guys, remember to check out the Centbee app. Download, just select your country there and just explore the shopping. Just see how many stuff you can get from Centbee. There's quite a lot. If you don't have Centbee by now, you're missing out. Shot. Yeah, so our third highlighted feedback now comes from BSV Aspire, one of our regular love givers. So BSV Aspire is saying, indeed, Centbee's approach to money transfers blends convenience and affection remarkably. And this was our money transfers post.
Yep, yeah. We want people to think of Centbee as a way to touch your family across distances, to be able to send them money and support. So if you want to send money to your relatives, if you're traveling, working abroad, and you want to send money home easily and conveniently, give Centbee a try. I think you'll like it.
Definitely. Shot. Yeah, Mr. G, thanks for an awesome show. Guys, remember to hit us up on our socials, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Telegram, Facebook. Also, you can check out our website out there if you want to maybe read up or some information about the product and stuff. And also drop us support at Centbee if you're having any issues regarding your wallet. And yeah, Mr. G.
Thanks, Kage. Thanks for the show. I appreciate it. It was nice to be able to sit together again and talk about Centbee. And I especially want to just talk to the viewers and just say thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for watching. I hope that you are sharing it with your friends. If you want to learn about real Bitcoin, that's what we're passionate about. We are definitely disciples of Satoshi Nakamoto in a way.
Yeah.
We want what he wanted, which is a payment system that is regulatory compliant, that's legal, that is low cost, and this is something that we are working hard to achieve. Mm-hmm. We also just want to thank those users of ours that are patiently working with us and Centbee and using Centbee and finding bugs and letting us know. We thank you for your patience as we get through everything, but please know that we're fully dedicated to making Centbee your favorite digital cash wallet. And all the problems that you see today, we're going to be actively looking at solving every one of those and constantly making sure that Centbee grows and improves and can really cater to all your lifestyle needs.
Yeah.
So thanks for downloading Centbee. Please share and subscribe. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks, Kage.